Hi everyone, this is the Math 30-1 Functions Review, and this is question number 1 from the Composition of Functions section. It says, if f of x is equal to negative x squared plus 4x minus 4, and g of x is equal to 4 minus x, then, and we're going to determine the domain and range of the different pieces here. Now, the first thing I want to do here is take a look, well, I should say it like this. The first things that we're supposed to do here is take a look at the domain and range of the individual functions. Okay, let's take a look at f of x first of all. F of x is equal to negative x squared plus 4x minus 4. Now, I know that this is a parabola that opens down, but I don't know what the vertex is until I put it into vertex form. Okay, you got to think back to Math 20 doing that. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is take out the negative out of this, and that's going to give me negative 4x plus 4. Now, I could complete the square on this, but I'm actually not going to because I can tell right away that this is going to factor down to x minus 2 squared. And that in and of itself puts this into vertex form. Now, I could complete the square, okay? I could have moved the constant out of the way and just looked at the quadratic and linear terms and completed the square, but I get there regardless. This is a parabola that opens down, and the vertex is going to be the point 2, 0. Okay? So what's my domain? Well, the domain is going to be all reals. The range, however, is going to be less than or equal to 0. Okay? Now, let's take a look at the linear function. Okay, g of x is equal to 4 minus x. Well, think of that more like this. Think of that more like y is equal to negative x plus 4, okay, which is a linear function with a negative slope and a y-intercept of positive 4. That's going to drop down like that. Okay, well, for a linear function, this is going to be x is an element of the reals. Y is going to be, the range is going to be y is an element of the reals. Okay, so those are our two component functions. Now, let's take a look. If you add those two functions together, what will be the resulting domain and range? Okay, now, when we add these things together, the domain of the resulting function is going to be limited by the domain, the smallest domain of the two functions here. Now, these are both elements of the reals, so this is actually not going to do anything. Okay? And if you want to think of it like this, what this would look like here, the sum of those two functions would be negative x squared plus 4x minus 4 plus 4 minus x. Okay? It doesn't really matter, okay? It's still going to be x is an element of the reals, okay? Because both of the constituent functions had these infinite domains here. Now, what will the range be? Well, that's a little bit harder to kind of get our heads wrapped around here. And in fact, maybe what we need to do here is do this work and combine those together. Okay, now I kind of already have it in my head. I know what this is going to do, but let's walk this thing through here. Negative x squared plus 4x minus 4 plus 4 minus x. Well, that gets me negative x squared, okay, plus 3x, and then the negative 4 and the plus 4 cancel, so this is the function that I'm working with. Now, so this is our composed function here, or the sum of our two functions here, which is a quadratic as well. And our quadratic is going to have a limited range here. So what does this thing look like? Well, let's maybe complete the square on this thing to see what our vertex is. I'll probably have to do that over here. So y equals, first of all, I'm going to factor out the negative, x squared minus 3x. And then I'm going to get y is equal to negative. I'll take half of that, so x squared minus 3x. Half of that is going to be 3 over 2, so squared will be 9 over 4 minus 9 over 4. I will take that out, and when I factor that down, I'm going to get x minus 3 over 2 squared plus 9 over 4. Now, this is a parabola that opens down with a vertex of 3 over 2, 9 over 4. So this is going to be will be less than or equal to positive 9 over 4. Okay? So there is a limitation to the range here, even when you add those together. Now, let's take a look at what happens when I go g minus f. Well, g minus f, so we're going to have, what is that? It's going to be 4 minus x minus negative x squared plus 4x minus 4. When the negative goes through, I mean, we're still getting a quadratic. Okay, and again, even when you're subtracting, the domain of the two functions being subtracted, the domain of the overall function, will only be limited by the smallest domain. And again, these are both element of the reals, so the domain here will again be the element of the reals. Now it's the range that's the issue. So here, let's put those two functions together. So we have 4 minus x. Now distribute that through. It'll become positive x squared minus 4x plus 4. And so now what have we got here? Well, our function is going to be y equals x squared minus 5x plus 8. Now probably what I got to do here is complete the square on that to figure out what the vertex is. So this is going to be x squared minus 5x. Okay, well half of 5 is going to be 5 over 2. Squared will be 25 over 4 minus 25 over 4. And I've got that plus 8 out there. And so this is going to become x minus 5 over 2 squared. And then I'm going to have 8, what is that? That's going to be 8 minus 25 over 4. So what's that going to be? That's going to be 32 minus 25. So that is going to be plus 7 over 4. And there's our vertex. Now this is a parabola that opens up from 7 over 4. So y will be greater than or equal to 7 over 4. Okay, those are the pieces that we're looking for. And you can see how that gets a little bit more complicated.